Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Emma and this is Sketchy Ed, where I discuss and review all things dark, creepy and disturbing. In today's video, I'll be going through 10 horror short films to add to your watch list that are all available to watch on YouTube. The inspiration behind this video comes from a comment I got on my host review where I was asked if I had seen one of Rob Savage's horror shorts, which I hadn't at the time. After checking it out, I kind of went down this rabbit hole of horror short films, which then gave me the idea of making a list of 10 that are worth your time. All of the short films in this video will be linked below in the description box. It's worth noting that pretty much all of the films on this list are available to stream on Alter, a YouTube channel whose catalogue consists of horror shorts from across the world. To start this list off at number 10, we have Dawn of the Deaf. Written and directed by Rob Savage, this 12-minute short follows 3 different storylines, all based around deaf characters. In each storyline, we're dropped in 1 hour before the pulse. I won't say too much more about this as I went in not knowing much at all and I really enjoyed the experience. For those of you who have watched Host, you'll recognize most of these characters, namely Caroline, Haley, and Redina. This horror short is dark and engaging and actually touches on quite a few deeper themes, impressive considering its short runtime. It'll definitely leave you wanting more and wishing for a feature-length adaptation. Next on our list, we have a short from a director that we all know very well, whose feature films so far have made massive waves in the horror community. His meticulous style and dark exploration of relationships, specifically trauma in the family unit, has garnered a cult-like following of loyal fans, myself included. I'm of course talking about Ari Aster, writer and director of Hereditary and Midsummer. Following in a similar fashion, we have his 17-minute 2013 short film, Munchausen. First off, this film is hyper stylized and really beautiful to watch. In its synopsis, it states that it's a Pixar-inspired montage, which it totally nails. It's also interesting to note that this film is void of all dialogue, instead being backed only by musical accompaniment. The story follows a mother who's having trouble letting go of her son when he goes to college, so she delays his departure by making him sick. A kind of non-typical Munchausen by proxy situation where the film gets its name. It's extremely well done and extremely dark. Do creepy dolls satisfy your type of horror taste? If so, the Dollmaker might be right up your alley. This compact 10-minute short directed by Lougher opens scene to a grieving young mother who's enlisted the services of a dollmaker who's crafted a doll imitating her recently deceased son. But this is no ordinary doll. It's a vessel which, when touched, reveals her son very much alive and well. There are some rules, of course, and a pretty satisfying twist ending which I think you guys will really enjoy. Not necessarily scary, but incredibly morbid and somber. It's also worth mentioning that it won a multitude of awards in 2017 and 2018, which it completely deserves. If you're a fan of animation, I promise you this one will leave your skin crawling. I'm talking about the perfectly psychotic and absolutely disturbing Teeth. And no, I'm not talking about that 2007 movie of the same name. This installment of Teeth was written and directed by Tom Brown and Daniel Gray. It follows a man from infancy to old age and his obsession around, yep, you guessed it, teeth. Beautifully animated, paired with a chilling sound design, this is truly an uncomfortable and unsettling watch. Are you someone that's bothered by people scraping their teeth on their cutlery while eating? If so, this is going to send shivers down your spine. With a minute 6-minute runtime, this short is a disgusting sensory experience that will definitely leave a lasting impression. Also, it's narrated by Richard E. Grant. Switching gears a bit, the next one on our list is more of a subtle one, but particularly if you're a woman, I'm sure it'll invoke some familiar kind of dread. Written and directed by Shelly Lauman, Birdie portrays a very realistic everyday scenario where a woman displays a casual, friendly gesture to a stranger, which escalates to a threatening situation. Throughout the whole short, my heart was beating so fast and I really felt like I could feel the protagonist's fear. It kept me hooked from start to finish, and it's this type of everyday horror that I find very effective. As a friendly and passive person myself, I could really put myself in this character's shoes and the filmmakers did a great job at conveying this anxiety to the viewer. We all know that the horror genre doesn't shy away when it comes to allegory. A perfect example of this is Maggie May, written and directed by Mia Kate Russell. The story follows two estranged sisters, Sam and Maggie May, who attempt to reconnect after the death of their mother. That synopsis is super vague, but it's probably better off that way. Our antagonist in this, Maggie May, is a lazy, apathetic, and despicable human being, played by Lulu McClatchy, who absolutely nailed the part. The film itself is actually quite gory in parts, which I didn't expect, but it was done really well. There's certainly an underlying message in this film which I really appreciated, and I think that the filmmakers did a great job putting this all together. It's very dark and quite disturbing, and successfully delivers a strong message. The next one on our list is supernatural period piece, Mortem Mary. Written and directed by Joshua Long, this 10-minute short centers around Mary, a young girl who worked with her mother running a post-mortem photography business in 1840s Australia. When they arrive at a client's house whose young daughter has passed, Mary is confronted with the task of preparing the body for photographing. This film is based around the real-life practice of post-mortem photography in the 1800s, where people would have posed photos taken of their deceased loved ones. If that's not creepy enough, throw in some supernatural elements and you've got yourself a spine-tingling, effective horror short. Super unnerving and visually stunning, Mortem Mary will have you at the edge of your seats right until the very end. What do you get when you mix comedy, religious themes, horror, allegory, and the 80s? The answer is Kathy, an incredibly humorous film with a very serious underlying message at the heart of its final reveal. This 17-minute short follows Frankie, a young teenage boy who finds himself regularly hanging out with his mother's prayer circle. Things change when a new woman named Kathy is introduced into the fold. Kathy is ruthless and claims to receive messages from God, which may reveal a demon among them. This film was so much fun to watch. It was very funny. I loved the humor in this. It worked incredibly well. I also liked the 80s aesthetic and sound design. It really gave it an endearing quality. In addition to this, it also has a strong message which doesn't really hit you until the very last line. This is a phenomenal short. I loved every minute of it. Next on our list, we have SLUT. Set against an ultra-stylized 70s backdrop, this 21-minute serial killer horror short was written and directed by Chloe Okuno. The film centers around Maddie, a lonely and awkward 16-year-old girl who, after an attempt to impress the boys at the local roller rink, becomes the target of a murderous, misogynistic psychopath. With a strong lead character played by Molly McIntyre, this film explores the theme of sexism and the unfair double standards applied to women as opposed to men. This quirky and dark slasher also won Best Student Short at Screamfest 2014. So last but certainly not least, we have a horror short that deeply moved me to the point of tears. I'd also have to say that this is the film that I'd rate the highest out of all of these on the list. So if you stuck around to this point, then good job. I'm talking about the award-winning horror short, Noria. This absolutely stunning 13-minute animated film was written and directed by Carlos Baena. It follows the story of a young boy building a Ferris wheel in his room when he's confronted by some strange and terrifying monsters. All I can say about this film is, wow, what a masterpiece. The animation is incredible. It's hyper realistic and just absolutely beautiful to watch. And then there's the themes that it tackles in such a surprising and sophisticated way. It's completely devastating and hopeful and beautiful. You guys need to check this one out. I promise you won't be disappointed. So there you guys have it. There's my list of 10 horror shorts that you should totally check out on YouTube. Have you guys seen any on the list? If so, I'd love to hear what you thought about it in the comments below. Also, if there's any recommendations that you have that weren't on this list, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.